but I think it...
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to interrupt Dr. Phil for just a moment because we want to take the news conference live from North Carolina, where Sheriff Sam Page is giving the latest information on the search for Jennifer Short.
Yes. Analysis. They requested some additional samples. They were taken up, and they're with the Roanoke lab right now being looked at for comparison reference to DNA. The only information I can tell you official is we're hoping within the next day or so to receive some information pertaining to the DNA results. So right now we're in a waiting game again, but hopefully in the next day or so we'll have that information. We will release, or we'll make a notification as soon as we receive that information so we can do a proper release, and I will do that with Sheriff Castle. So right now, the Virginia lab does have some of the requested samples from North Carolina lab. They have those now, and they're conducting their analysis. If I can move back here for a second, we did not get to complete one of the ponds today because of we had to take a water sample. We want to make sure everything's okay for the divers before they go in. The divers will be in place tomorrow morning. If you happen to be in the area, 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, they should be in place there for finishing up the search of that remaining pond. This evening around 5 o'clock, we'll be finishing up our review with the Virginia State Police, the Rockingham County Sheriff's Office, Henry County Sheriff's Office, and associated investigators that are working on the case today. At this time, that's the only additional information I have official that I can release.
Why have they not, the medical examiners not been able to take that seed sample and compare it to Jennifer Short? Because I'm sure they have done it at the time.
I'm sure they do. I do not have the answer for you on that question, ma'am.
Have they come up with a cause of death yet?
I have not been given determined cause of death yet.
So Sheriff, you're saying that they know it's a 9-year-old girl, but they don't know yet if it's Jennifer Short.
That's correct. That's correct.
Sheriff, if I could just follow that on, so is it they don't know it, or they're not releasing it yet?
We have not been given a definitive DNA information pertaining to Ms. Short versus the submitted items to the labs.
Sheriff, what kind of samples were requested from Chapel Hill and from your farm?
I believe it was part of a remainder of a leg bone, and I'm not sure of the other item. I know some hair fiber was also submitted, and I know there's been some dental work, but other than that, I can't make any other statements.
What are they making the comparison with? Was it the locket of hair from Jennifer Short, or?
I'm not sure exactly. I know they requested the items for comparison, and I did not make the inquiry because I knew they just needed they requested certain things, and they were taken up there for analysis.
Did you find bone fragments today? Could you talk about some of
Information, I think that there was one additional item of skeletal remains that was located today, possibly. I do not have any information on that other than just a fragment. And that was, I think that was correct. I think that was correct this morning. Yes, sir.
Last week you said that there were no missing persons in this area. Now that we know the age and the race of the skull, what in your mind, what is the possibility?
I will not speculate. The only thing I can say is we're not aware of any missing 9-year-olds in Rockingham County.
Okay, so as far as around the area,
I'm just from what I know in this county. I haven't reviewed any of the information that's come in, but for as far as missing 9-year-olds or even 10-year-olds, because we were saying 9 or 10, that we're aware of. That's correct. But right now we have not made a definitive identification and match with DNA, and again, that is what we're waiting on.
What part of the week you were saying you had approximately 25% of the skeleton? At this point,
I would say no. I know that information was released earlier by one of the staff, and as far as I know, no, sir.
I know you all aren't releasing the cause of death, but do you have any information on any kind of wound or anything that you all are looking at that could...
Officially, I cannot comment on that question. Yes, ma'am.
Apparently, I was going to say that the wire is already reporting that the cause of death was a gunshot wound to the skull.
In regards to your question, I do not have it official for release, so therefore I cannot release that. Yeah, next question.
Sheriff, you were talking since Wednesday about trying to find the complete remains of this corpse. With this search, do you feel like you're any closer to finding the entire skeletal remains?
Right now, as far as I've been advised by investigators, we have found, basically have scoured the area, and additional investigators were working out even further out, and we have not found any additional skeletal remains or any other items or clothing or anything else that would tie to this case that we are aware of. One last question. What? From the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner, Chapel Hill. That the tooth was that of a 9-year-old.
Sheriff, if I can follow up on the question. Does that lead you to speculate anything in regards to how this body was transported here, or how it got here, or where it might be?
Can't speculate. Again, I'm dealing with fact. And right now, that was relayed to me just a little bit ago, and that came in about an hour ago from the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner in Chapel Hill. One last question. Unless something else comes up, some additional information comes up, we will be definitely in the water, in the pond, tomorrow around 9 o'clock in the morning. That's as far as I know. Yes, ma'am.
You're not going back to research the streets or anything like that?
Unless it's brought to my attention by the investigators, I'm not aware of any additional searches. Okay, thank you very much, and I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank y'all. Thank y'all very much.
Okay, there you have Sheriff Sam Page with the Rockingham County Sheriff's Department. They've been there. They found remains at that pond. A lot of people questioned if there was a Jennifer Short connection, and as you heard him say, that they just don't know right now, and he called it a waiting game, so they're still waiting on DNA results to come in.
Initially, of course, the hair sample appeared that it did not seem likely to be Jennifer, but now we do know the remains are those of a 9 or 10-year-old girl. The hair sample may or may not be a match. They're doing DNA testing, and that's what they're waiting for now. But there is simply no other little girl missing that they know of in the area.
In the Rockingham County area.
The question is if that's not Jennifer, then who is it? And so they're taking a good hard look at the evidence, and we thought perhaps this might be the time we would learn something new. But again, from Sheriff Sam Page, nothing there.
Yeah, nothing new yet.
Send you back now to Dr. Phil, and we'll have all the latest details on News Channel 10 at 5 and at 6.
They just said it was